Hey, I need to ask you a question. How many of you have been looking for something and you've moved things around, you've raised things up, you went to one corner and then to another corner trying to look for something. And lo and behold, what you've been looking for was right under your nose. I know that has happened to me. How'd you feel? How'd you feel when that happened? Well, it's according to how you're feeling in that particular day. It could be that, oh man, I feel stupid because I couldn't find that. Or you just kind of laugh it off and say, man, my glasses were on top of my head and I was looking for my glasses all along. Well, in the same vein, how many of you are sending teachers to trainings trying to find something new? So why do you do that? You say, well, why? Why? Because, we're a low performing school. We are trying to overcome our learning loss from COVID. Our attendance is low. Our discipline is a problem. We have all kind of issues. So you're trying to find something to help us. Well, I found that as principals, that you spend all kind of money, as much money as you could get approved by central administration, to send your teachers, to send your administrators, to send your instructional coach. You have spent money for trainings for yourself. Because, when your people come back, sometimes they give you all the training and sometimes they don't. So you decide you're going to go yourself and try to find the training that you need in order to turn your school around. Well, if you know that you need some extra assistance because there's something that you're looking for that's right under your nose, you're in the right place. And if you think that you don't already have all the answers, you're in the right place. As a principal, we are under the gun. We are under the gun from the community, from central administration, and we're especially under the gun if we're a newly assigned principal or a reassigned principal, and people are looking for something for you to do. They're looking for you to bring a change. So what we're going to be talking about tonight is 3 ways to find hidden jewels of success in your school. Hidden jewels of success. So what we're going to do, we're going to open that box and the jewels are not going to be hidden. Hi, welcome to another episode of Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into a hallelujah success story. Somebody says book clubs, local professionals who do awareness and training. Absolutely, absolutely. That's where we're headed. So what I want you to know is that for this evening, we're going to give you three jewels. We are going to go into that treasure box and give you 3 jewels to show you that you have things right under your nose that you're not using that's going to bring your school to the success that you're looking for. My name is Barbara Polk. I'm known as the turnaround principal. I was assigned to one of the lowest performing the lowest performing school in my district, and one of the lowest performing schools in the state of Texas. And later on, after we had all our success, we had become a hallelujah success story. I was chosen by the Harvard Graduate School of Education, their Urban School Institute, to go and to study with other principals like me who had the same kinds of problems so that we could come up with ways for our children to be successful. Because our children who are in poverty, our children who are of color, there is no way they should not be succeeding. With the millions of dollars that we are spending in our community, our students need to be successful. And the traditional way of doing it, following 1, 2, 3, check, check, check. Oh, this is how you do it. And no, that's not going to work in our schools. You, principal, are the one that's going to make things work in your school. I was also chosen by the Texas Education Agency to go into those low performing schools and to get those schools turned around. And so we can say we have lots of hallelujah success stories out there in the state of Texas. Now, before we go into our three treasures, our three jewels, first thing I want you to do, I want you to go to Facebook, Barbara Ray Polk Consulting, and I want you to share. And also want you to go to YouTube, and I want you to check off on YouTube that you want to be a part of our program. So here we go. Here we go. The first thing I need you to understand is that I had things happening to me that right under my nose, and I didn't even realize it. You know, we have some preconceived notions in education about our children because of the way they act or the way they talk or the way they look. We say, well, you know, that one is smart and that one is low. In my last school, we had something that was called our spelling bee, and what I saw was one little boy was running up and down, running up and down. And I said, "What are you doing in here?" He said, "Well, you know, I made it to the finals in spelling bee, and I'm here to be on stage." I said, "Well, you need to just go and have a seat." So again, I see him. He's just jumping up and down. I said, "What? How did you make the finals to get it in here?" I don't know. They told me this is where I'm supposed to be. So anyway, I'm thinking, you know, I don't know who let him in here, but he has no business being in here. And you know, I turn around and get distracted, and all of a sudden I see him up on the stage, and they're asking how to spell words, and he's constantly hitting the button. Oh my goodness. My preconceived notion about him is that you don't belong here because of the way he acted, because of the way he talked. He was a jewel and was right under my nose, and I didn't see it. I just didn't see it. And there's some things that you can do as a principal. You need some options, as the Facebook user said. You need some options. You need some ideas. So the first thing that you have that's right under your nose that you are not using to your maximum, and that is your master teacher or your little newbie teacher who's just burning things up, who's on fire. So I said, well, what can I do with that master teacher? Because, you know, the master teacher, you know, she doesn't feel like being bothered. She wants to do things her way. She doesn't want to do things the way central administration has instructed us, you know, to teach the standards. But you have some results. If you are a newly assigned principal, you have some results to show that, you know, her students are the ones that's getting it done. They're getting the job done. So what can you do? Well, with those two teachers, three teachers, however, one teacher that you may have, you know that they are doing something right in that class. And you have some other teachers who have never been in that classroom. You've been in the classroom. You know how that teacher is instructing. You know how that teacher is doing her lesson plans. So let's see, what it says, staff, you changed teacher assignments. And it turned out RLA made a better score than math. Well, of course. I mean, you cannot sit and wait for something to happen. You can't go somewhere to make something happen. You have to make something happen right there where you are. So with your master teacher or your master teachers, you know what standards you are weak on. You know what standards those students absolutely have to have in order to be successful at the next level. So why don't you have your teachers to do the professional development right there on your campus? You said right there on my campus. Yeah, that's right. Right there on your campus. There is a place in your campus, lots of places. We are looking at a library. You may have another place. You may have a media space in your school. Have your professional development right there on your campus. So you say, well, and during the school day, So you say, well, how can I do that? Well, you and the instructional coach, you get together and you decide what teachers you think would be a good fit to do the professional development. And you get with those teachers and you ask them, would they provide some professional development for, some of your new teachers or teachers who have not been exposed to their teaching style? And you come up with your agenda, you come up with your handouts, and here's the key. You get a request for a substitute teacher to be in those teachers' classes for a half day, maybe 2 half days, okay? And you start practicing. You start doing the instruction. I don't know who my Facebook user is, but they're saying, yeah, you had me AP present on rigor teaching. I still remember those points. Exactly. That's the way it's done. That's why our school was a hallelujah success story. That's why people came looking for positions on our campus in January, because we were a hallelujah success story. We use our master teachers. We use our newbies. We use people who were interested in sharing what they had. And if your master teacher is not one, or your teacher of the year. I mean, my goodness, we have all of this recognition for teacher of the year. You got your teacher of the year in that building. Hopefully you got your teacher of the year still in that building. And if you have, then get that teacher, ask that teacher, recognize that teacher as the teacher who is going to be doing the training of colleagues. Now, I know that some of your teachers will say, "Oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I can show them. I don't know if they'll understand the way I teach. The way I teach is not the way they are telling me to teach in central administration. But this is what works for my students." Oh my goodness, that's how you get it done. That's how you get it done. Well, I don't know. Whether I can get a substitute approved for training that's in my building. How do you find out? You ask. And when they tell you no, then you go to them and you explain to them what you're doing, why that's important. Okay? That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You can even have the option of having your master teacher or your newbie. They can even do their training online. You can set that right there up in your building if they feel more comfortable doing it that way. But you have to have some options. You cannot stand around sending people away from your building, getting training, coming back, hoping that the training works, and you don't have any evidence. That's one jewel that you can use. Jewel number 2. What about your PLCs? You say, oh, PLCs, oh my goodness, my goodness. First of all, we can't even get people to get the PLCs on time. Lots of times we don't have an agenda. Or we're doing the same thing over and over and over. We're sitting there listening to people, with excuses in the PLCs. And then some of you have some excellent PLCs. They're just working like a greased wheel. But you can take your PLC, you can make it a linear PLC. Because we're talking about moving into second semester. And second semester, we're going to really be pushing for our students to succeed on our state assessment. So what you need to think about is, how can you take that PLC and have it focusing just on your content areas where you have the most difficult standards? And then what you do is you get with those departments and you have those teachers to do their own assessment. Have the teachers to write their assessment. Have the teachers to look at their exit tickets. That's going to give you the data that you need in order to make a change in your instruction. So you get together, you decide that for 6th grade math, this, and we're going, and we're doing standard 6.13, and we are going to make up our own assessment. And then when we return back to our PLC, you don't have to have a PLC once a week. You can have a PLC twice a week. You can have a PLC 3 times a week. It's a matter of your focus. Do you need to have it 2 times a week? Do you need to get back together with each other and say, I did this assessment and here were my scores? Or I did this assessment and my scores are not as good as yours. Ha, there you go. If your scores on your assessment are not as good as mine for 6.13, and I have better scores than you on 6.27, then I need to show you how I'm teaching that, and you need to show me how you're teaching yours. That's your jewel. That's your jewel. Use your people. Don't, of course, go to training. Of course, you need to talk to other people. Listen to how they do things. That's the whole part of networking. But you have a network right there on your campus. I tell you another jewel, this is just something extra. Some of you have some substitute teachers who have been subbing, teaching that same content on your campus for years. They may not know how to teach a whole lot of the standards, but they know how to teach 1 or 2 right. And they can share with you how they're doing that. All righty now, let's move on to jewel number 3. So what about your instructional coach? I know what you're saying. An instructional coach is so busy. The instructional coach is so busy doing other administrative things. We work with the instructional coach in the PLC, but the principal has the instructional coach on the leadership team, and that instructional coach is having to do so many administrative things. They have to get things ready for district assessment. They have to report to central administration about, different kinds of scores. But as the principal, you can get with that supervisor and you can work things out. But that jewel, your instructional coach, did not become an instructional coach because they did not know how to work a classroom, because they did not know how to teach some content. They got to be an instructional coach because they are good at what they do. So your jewel is that instructional coach needs to be in the classrooms helping the teachers who need that help. Now, how are you going to do it? Well, first of all, you're not just going to haphazard say, well, today I'm going to so-and-so, today I'm going to so-and-so. You're going to have to come up with a plan. It can't be anything that just lackadaisical you just do at the drop of a hat. It has to be a plan. You have to study your data. You have to have observations. You have to know when to go into a classroom, because not only are you going to be finding instruction issues in that classroom, you're going to find management issues in that classroom when that instructional coach goes. You're going to find that you thought the teacher knew what she was teaching and she really doesn't know the content. You're going to find that instructional coach is going to have to help that teacher teach that content, or if that is not one of their content areas, to get another teacher to show this teacher how to do what they need. That's your jewel. That is your jewel. And then you're going to start all over. You're going to start all over. So sure, send them to the training. And I mean, sometimes, you'll come back with some good stuff from the training, but you can't keep it. You can't be in a silo. You have to spread it around. You have to show it. You have to add on to something that teachers already know. And you have just found one little small part to add to it where you can get some success with your students. So the 3 jewels that I can give you, something that is right under your nose. You are looking all over the place for the answer, and your answers are right under your nose. Your answer is your master teacher. Your answer is your new teacher, or your rookie teacher, or the teacher that all the kids like because he teaches a certain way and they're learning. That's who you need to have on your team. That's who you need to have to do your professional development on your campus. Now, you can take the core, you can take the essential, and you can add your own spin to it. But you got some stuff right under your nose that you're not using. The second thing is your PLC. Everybody has a PLC this time. Everybody has a PLC. You know, whether it's a good PLC or a bad PLC, well, take it and use it to your advantage. Take those PLCs, look at your standards that you need to work on, that you have trouble with. If you have somebody from central administration dictating to you what you should be doing in your PLCs, then you are just going to have to work it out with that supervisor to let them know that we're going to do what you're asking to do, but we're going to do this in addition to it. It has to be that way. They didn't put you in that position as the principal to be a puppet, to just, sit and, not use your gifts. You didn't get to be a principal by, not knowing what to do. You've been in the classroom. You know what to do. You just can't follow the pattern and expect to have, good success. You have to add your own flavor. You have to make it your own. And when you do that, then you will see that you will have some success. And the third thing, again, is your instructional coach. Your instructional coach is the bomb. I'm telling you. So what happens is that principals use those instructional coaches. They're usually on the administrative team, and they have so many administrative things to do, but you have to inspect what you expect. If you expect your instructional coach to be in those classrooms to be able to help those teachers, then you are going to have to inspect that to get the kind of results that you need. They are going to have to be in the classroom. They are going to be dissecting data along with you to know what teacher needs what. And at the same time, you're going to find that there's some planning that they need instruction with. It could be some content that they're not good at. And they have to feel comfortable enough to tell that instructional coach that I'm really having problems with this. And those are your jewels. Those are your jewels. So if you have people who are not members of Principals on the Come Up, you can just click on that link and you can invite them yourselves. You can invite them to Principals on the Come Up. And you can also go to barbararaypolk.com and go to Facebook and subscribe. Go to Facebook and subscribe. I'll be hitting you up again on, not on Facebook, on YouTube. Be hitting you up again on YouTube to go in and subscribe, because we are shooting for 200 subscribers to YouTube. We have YouTube here, and one of my Facebook users says, good resource. 1, master teachers. 2, PLC. 3, instructional coaches. All right. I appreciate you taking those notes. So we will see you again next time. What's in your toolbox? I got some more stuff in my toolbox, and I'll be bringing some more things that you're just kind of, taking for granted. We'll be talking about some more the next time we see you on Principals on the Come Up, where we transform schools into hallelujah success stories. See you next time.